I never thought I would find myself questioning the very foundation of my relationship. When we first met, it felt like a dream come true. I still remember the day vividly. It was a bright afternoon, and I was at the shopping mall, casually browsing through shelves of items I didn't even need. Then, out of nowhere, he appeared. He wasn't the kind of man who went unnoticed. His confidence radiated, and his smile was the kind that could light up the darkest room. When our eyes met, it felt as though the entire world paused. He approached me, striking up a conversation about the most random thing, a book I was holding. I don't even remember what I said back, but whatever it was, it made him laugh. From that moment, we connected like old friends who had finally found each other after years of searching. He wasn't just charming, he was attentive. He noticed the small things, the way I tucked my hair behind my ear when I was nervous, the way my eyes lit up when I spoke about something I loved. He made me feel seen, like I was the only person in the room, even in a crowded mall. As we got to know each other, I realized he was everything I had ever prayed for in a partner. He was caring, supportive, and always there when I needed him. He had a way of making me feel like the most beautiful woman in the world, not just because of how I looked but because of who I was. He appreciated my quirks, my flaws, and even the things I wasn't proud of. But it wasn't just his words that made me feel special, it was his actions. He would surprise me with my favorite snacks after a long day, stay up late to help me with a project, or simply hold me close when I needed comfort. He was my safe space, my anchor in a world that often felt overwhelming. Over time, we built a relationship that felt unbreakable. He didn't just love me, he adored me. He loved the way I laughed, even when it was at the worst jokes. He loved the way I dreamed big and encouraged me to chase after my goals. And yes, he loved my body too, always reminding me of how beautiful I was, even on days when I didn't feel it myself. He made me believe in love again, in its ability to heal, nurture, and bring out the best in two people. I felt like I had finally found my forever, the one person who truly understood and accepted me for who I was. But now, as I sit here grappling with the doubts and fears that have crept into our relationship, I can't help but wonder, was it all too good to be true? Can a love that once felt so perfect withstand the weight of this new uncertainty? Or have I been blinded by the fairy tale I so desperately wanted to believe in? For 2 years, we built a relationship that felt as solid as a mountain, unshakable and full of promise. Those years were filled with laughter, warmth, and moments I thought would last forever. We weren't just a couple, we were best friends, partners in everything, and each other's greatest cheerleaders. We shared everything, our dreams, fears, and the tiniest details of our days. We would talk for hours about our future, weaving dreams that felt so vivid and real, like a story we were writing together. We planned the wedding of our dreams, imagining every detail, from the colors of the flowers to the songs we'd dance to. We even discussed the home we'd live in, picturing a cozy space filled with love and laughter. The conversations about children were always my favorite. We'd imagine their names, their personalities, and how we'd raise them to be kind and strong. Those talks weren't just words, they were promises. Promises of a shared future, of a life we both believed in. In those 2 years, he became my safe haven. He wasn't just my boyfriend, he was my best friend and confidant, the one person I could trust with my deepest thoughts and emotions. He was the first person I turned to when I was happy, the shoulder I leaned on when I was sad, and the voice that reassured me when I doubted myself. Everything about us felt so natural, so right. I never questioned his love for me or mine for him. Together, we faced challenges, celebrated victories, and built a bond that seemed unbreakable. But lately, something has shifted. It's subtle, like a faint crack in a once-perfect mirror, but I feel it. The trust and certainty I once had are now clouded by doubts I can't ignore. I've started to wonder if I truly know the man I've been planning to spend forever with. Is he the same person who held my hand and promised me the world? Or have I been so lost in the dreams we built together that I missed the signs of who he really is? It's a question that keeps me up at night, a question I never thought I'd have to ask. How do you reconcile the man you thought you knew with the one who now feels like a stranger? And what do you do when the future you've been building starts to feel like a house of cards, ready to collapse at any moment? It all started one quiet evening, just the two of us alone in his room. The atmosphere was warm, and as always, we found ourselves talking about the future. That's when he dropped a bombshell that left me speechless. "If we're going to get married, you'll have to prove to me that you can have children," he said with a tone so casual it felt like he was discussing the weather. At first, I laughed, thinking it was a joke. But his expression didn't change. He was serious. "What do you mean?" I asked, trying to mask the growing knot in my stomach. "I just want to be sure, you know? I don't want any surprises after we're married," he explained. "You should get pregnant first. Then, we can talk about the wedding." His words hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. My heart sank, and a wave of emotions washed over me: shock, confusion, and a deep, aching hurt. How could he say something like that? Did he really think I was some sort of test he needed to pass before committing to me? I tried to reason with him. "But we've talked about this before. Marriage first, then kids. Why change things now?" He shrugged, his gaze steady. "I just want to be sure. It's nothing against you. I just think it's practical." His explanation only added to my frustration. Practical? Was love supposed to be practical? For 3 years, I thought we were building something based on trust and faith in each other. But now, I couldn't help but feel like I was being reduced to a condition he needed to fulfill before taking the next step. That night, I couldn't sleep. His words echoed in my mind, each one cutting deeper than the last. Part of me wanted to understand. Maybe he had his reasons, fears he hadn't shared with me. Maybe he was afraid of the unknown, just like everyone else. But another part of me couldn't shake the hurt. Why couldn't he trust me? Why couldn't he trust our love? I thought about all the sacrifices I'd made for this relationship, the compromises, the patience, the unwavering support I'd given him through his highs and lows. And now, he was asking me for proof, as if our years together weren't enough to show him that I was all in. Days turned into weeks, and I found myself battling an internal war. Should I give in to his demand to prove my love and commitment, or should I stand my ground and demand the respect I deserved? Was this even about love anymore, or had it become something else entirely? When I confronted him again, hoping for a change of heart, he remained firm. "It's not that I don't trust you," he said. "I just want to be sure. Don't you want to know too? What if something's wrong, and we only find out after we're married?" His words stung, not because of what he was saying but because of what they implied. To him, our future together hinged on my ability to fulfill his expectations, not on the bond we'd spent years building. Now, I'm at a crossroads. I've always believed that love was about trust, about taking risks together and supporting each other through uncertainty. But his ultimatum has shaken that belief to its core. As I sit here, alone in my thoughts, I'm left wondering, is this the kind of love I want? Is this the man I've been dreaming of spending my life with? Or have I been blind to the cracks that were always there, waiting for the right moment to show themselves? Sometimes, the hardest decisions are the ones that force us to confront the truth about what we deserve. And in this moment, I'm starting to realize that maybe, just maybe, I deserve more than someone who needs proof to believe in me. The more I think about his demand, the more my mind spirals with questions and doubts. What if I agree, give him what he wants, and then he leaves me? What if he decides he's not ready for marriage after all, leaving me to face the world with a child and no partner? The thought terrifies me. How would I explain such a situation to my family? What would my parents think? They've always taught me the value of commitment and doing things the right way. Disappointing them feels like a betrayal of everything they've ever instilled in me. And then, there's the nagging question that haunts me day and night: does he truly love me? If he did, wouldn't he marry me without these conditions? Wouldn't he trust that we could face whatever challenges came our way together? I've always believed love is about accepting someone wholeheartedly, with no ifs or buts. So why does it feel like I'm being tested, like I'm on trial for my future? I've asked him directly if he doubts me or if he thinks I can't have children. His response is always the same. "It's not about that," he insists. "I just want to be sure. It's for both of us, not just me." But his words don't give me the reassurance I need. If anything, they make me feel even more uneasy. It's not just about the act of proving myself to him, It's the principle of it. I've spent 3 years showing him my love and loyalty, and yet, that doesn't seem to be enough. Why do I have to prove something as intimate and personal as this to him? I love him, I really do. But my heart is heavy with the fear of making a mistake that could change my life forever. I've seen what happens to women who are left to raise children alone, struggling to balance the demands of parenthood and societal judgment. I don't want to become a cautionary tale. And yet, I find myself torn. Part of me wants to hold on to the relationship we've built, to the dreams we've shared. But another part of me wonders if this is a red flag I can't afford to ignore. If he can't trust me now, will he ever? If he can't commit to me without conditions, what other hoops will I have to jump through in the future? Here I am, seeking answers. So now, here I am, pouring my heart out, hoping for clarity, wisdom, or maybe just a different perspective. The questions are endless, and the weight of them feels unbearable. What would you do if you were in my shoes? Would you agree to his demand, risking your future and your self-respect for the chance of a life together? Or would you walk away, knowing deep down that you deserve a love that doesn't come with conditions? Sometimes, I close my eyes and wish I could turn back time. Back to the days when everything felt simple and secure. Back when love was pure, uncomplicated, and full of trust. But life has a way of throwing challenges when you least expect them, and this one feels like it could break me. The doubt is there, growing louder with each passing day. It's impossible to ignore, no matter how much I wish I could. In the end, after countless sleepless nights and endless soul-searching, I made a decision. I told myself it was about love, about trust, and about a future I wanted to fight for. We finally agreed to take that step, together. The day that changed everything. One day, after weeks of difficult conversations and sleepless nights, we made a decision. We booked a hotel room, a quiet, private space where we could face what lay ahead. It felt like a moment suspended in time, one that would shape the course of our future. As we stepped into the room, I couldn't ignore the whirlwind of emotions swirling inside me. Love was at the forefront, the kind of love that had carried us through 2 years of laughter, tears, and shared dreams. But alongside it was nervousness, a weight pressing on my chest, making every breath feel heavy. And then there was doubt, a lingering shadow that whispered, "Is this truly the right choice?" The room was simple, yet it felt heavy with meaning. The soft lighting cast a golden glow, creating an atmosphere that was both intimate and surreal. I could hear my heart pounding in my ears as I turned to look at him. He stood there, his eyes filled with something I couldn't quite place, a mixture of determination and vulnerability. For a moment, the world around us seemed to fade away, and all I could see was him. The man who had once made me feel like I was the center of his universe. The man I had loved deeply, despite the flaws and uncertainties that had surfaced. As he reached for my hand, I felt a jolt of reassurance. His touch was warm, steady, and familiar. It was a reminder of all the times he had been my rock, my safe space. In that moment, I wanted to believe that this was the right choice, that our love was strong enough to withstand anything. We sat together, talking softly about the future we hoped to create. His words were filled with promises, his voice carrying a conviction that made my heart ache with both hope and fear. He said he wanted to build a life with me, to create a family that would be our greatest joy. As the evening unfolded, the emotions grew more intense. The love we shared felt tangible, wrapping around us like a protective shield. But beneath it all was the undeniable reality of what we were about to do, a step that could either bring us closer or tear us apart. In that room, with only the sound of our breathing and the steady ticking of the clock, I made a choice. I chose to trust him, to believe in the man I had loved for years. Despite the doubts and the fears, I clung to the hope that this decision would lead us to a future filled with love and happiness. That night, as we held each other, it felt like we had crossed an invisible line. There was no turning back now, no undoing what had been set into motion. And as I looked into his eyes, I silently prayed that I had made the right choice. Weeks later, my life changed forever. I discovered I was pregnant. The moment I saw the test results, tears streamed down my face, tears of joy, fear, and hope. When I told him, his reaction was everything I had hoped for. He hugged me tightly, promising that he was ready for the journey ahead. True to his word, we got married in a beautiful ceremony. It wasn't the grand wedding we had once imagined, but it was filled with love and the promise of a new beginning. The challenges of the past seemed to fade as we welcomed not one, but two blessings into our lives, twins. Holding my babies for the first time, I felt a love I had never known before. In that moment, every doubt, every fear, seemed worth it. My husband stood beside me, his eyes filled with pride and joy. For the first time in a long time, I felt at peace. But even now, as I look at my life, I can't help but reflect on the journey it took to get here. Was it the right path? Did I make the right choices? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, I have learned the importance of listening to my heart, even when the answers aren't easy.